Welcome to another Splatoon 2 Octo expansion video. I will be talking more about your theories. This is sort of like a part 2 to the last one where I talked about Agent 8, and I sort of talked about the plot as well and your theories surrounding the story and what the plot will be for the Octo expansion DLC. And this is sort of like a follow-up video to that, just because I will be focusing on the plot. So let's just start off this video by talking about some of your ideas on when this Octo expansion could be set. So Miguel Nieves, again, I must apologise, I'm just going to say this in every single video, but I must apologise if I do pronounce your name wrong. I'm absolutely terrible at pronouncing names, as this sort of mini-series has proven already. So really must apologise about pronouncing your name wrong, Miguel. But Miguel has this to say: I think Octo expansion takes place in the middle of Splatoon 1 and 2. Plus in Splatoon 1 you hear groaning and train noises when you defeat a boss. So yeah, that is definitely an interesting theory, and that would be really cool if we did get to see Callie like getting kidnapped by DJ Octavio within this Octo expansion. I'm not sure whether they will do that or not, just because they have talked about what happened between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 within the Squid Sisters stories, I do believe is what they called it, where they basically looked at Callie and Marie. I think it was either Marie's diary, I think it might have been Marie's diary, and it sort of explained what was happening in the world of Inkopolis between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. So I'm not sure whether they would go over that sort of content again, but I think that would be really cool if we actually got to see some of the stuff that happened between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. So I think it would be cool if it was set between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2. I think it would be cool for veteran players like myself that have played the first game on the Wii U. So yeah, that would be really cool if we did see the events after what happened in Splatoon 1 leading up to the events in Splatoon 2. Actually, since this recording, I have had a little bit of a change of heart, just because I'm not sure when this video was recorded whether I knew about the fact that Agent 8, she watched the Squid Sisters perform in the final boss battle in Splatoon 1, and that calamari incantation performance, it made Agent 8 want to go to Inkopolis. I'm not sure whether I learned about that detail, but pretty much I think this theory could be right, that maybe it could be set between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, just because I think we will learn about Captain Cuttlefish's research trip. So maybe that research trip did start in between the events of Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, so maybe this theory could be right. But Ali Wume has this to say: I do believe that Octo expansion takes place after the actual single player, as in order to go to the Octo expansion you must beat the actual single player. I don't think you will need to beat the single player to buy the Octo expansion or to play the Octo expansion. I think the only requirement is that you need to buy it, and that is it. It will unlock for you. I think you will be able to play the Octo expansion even if you haven't played the single player. That's just what I'm thinking. I don't think they will lock that behind a sort of wall of, right, you have to beat the single player first before you try the Octo expansion. I don't think they will do that. So yeah, maybe because I think they won't do that, then maybe the events of the Octo expansion, maybe it will not be like tied to the events in the single player, and maybe it will be the spin-off that I sort of talked about before, how maybe it will be the mission or the research trip, as the Sunken Scroll put it. I didn't look at that Sunken Scroll for a long time, so yeah, I got mixed up in that. It is Captain Cuttlefish and Agent 3 that went on a research trip, and maybe the Octo expansion is that research trip. So yeah, I don't think you will need to play the single player first and then play the Octo expansion. But who knows, maybe the single player and the Octo expansion is tied in some way, and maybe the Octo expansion is set after the events of the Splatoon 2 single player, and that would be a pretty cool follow-up to anybody that has played the Splatoon 2 single player. So again, that would be really cool if that did happen. I don't really think this theory is true, based on that Agent 8, she watched the final boss battle in Splatoon 1. So I think the events of the Octo expansion will be set either after Splatoon 1 in between Splatoon 2, or it will be set during the same time as the Splatoon 2 single player, and that is when we will learn about the Captain Cuttlefish research trip that we learned about in the Sunken Scroll in the single player. That is the theory that I am sticking to at this moment in time. H20 Woomy Wild and Dank Eggis have flipping blown my mind with this really cool theory. So H20 Woomy Wild says, what if the lab is the Squid Research Lab? Squid Research, isn't it obvious? Squid, so maybe they put Agent 8 in the lab to research about it, like the moves and how they live. Dank Eggy says, plot twist, Squid Research Lab is the lab that Agent 8 has to escape from. And wouldn't that be really cool if this was actually true? If the Squid Research Lab is the test facilities that we see in the Octo expansion. That would be a cool little tie between the Squid Research Lab that tells us information and updates that is happening in the world of Splatoon, and we actually get to see it in like the world itself. That would be really cool if this was the Squid Research Lab, and it really does make sense. And to be honest with you, I honestly think this is realistic. I honestly think the test facilities could be the Squid Research Lab. I really do. I think this is a pretty spot on theory. So yeah, I think this could be realistic. I think the test facilities will be the Squid Research Lab. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Moving on to Ray Kim's theory, I think the goggles are controlling the Octarians, and there is an even greater enemy pulling the strings. Think about it. The Octarians from Splatoon 1 have worn the goggles, and Callie was controlled by them in Splatoon 2. The Octolings also were controlled by them in Splatoon 2 as well. I think the goggles erased her memory, and they were taken off by Captain Cuttlefish. He saved her, but she must get her memories back by going through familiar kettles from her childhood. So that is referring to Captain Cuttlefish and Agent 8. And yeah, I think the goggles and the shades, I think they will play a part in this Octo expansion, and I think that is definitely a plausible theory. Now, I want to say your name is Zlanova, but I probably have pronounced your name wrong. It is spelled Xylanova. So yeah, I probably have pronounced your name wrong. Again, I must apologise if I have done that. Because of the way Marina looks compared to other Octolings, I think that she was the result of an experiment trying to make different varieties of Octoling, like different hairstyles, skin colours and power differences, and the test facility has existed for much longer than we thought. Probably not true though, it's just fun to think about. And yeah, maybe, yeah, because Marina, she does look different, maybe she was the result of an experiment, and maybe the Octarians, they are trying to create different varieties of Octoling that isn't possible by simply reproducing them by cutting off the host tentacle. Maybe that is what is happening. Maybe they're trying to create genetically modified Octolings that, like you said, have different hairstyles, skin colours, and have stronger capabilities compared to ones that are reproduced naturally, and that is why they can use special weapons. So yeah, I think maybe this could be it. Or maybe Marina is a different octopus species, and that is the same case with Agent 8. I talked about that in an earlier video. EU Nations says, could the octopus with the thought bubble be her memories you have to collect? I think that would be really cool if you, as Agent 8, you have to go around and collect your memories. Maybe this could be one of the collectibles within the level itself. Maybe they will get rid of the Sunken Scroll, or I can't remember the proper name, but the silver salmon-like creature. Maybe it will replace one of those two things, and you will have to collect one of her memories within a level, and at the end of the level, if you have collected it, you get to see a part of that memory. You get to see that memory opened up, you get to see that memory play out. It will be called in cutscene form, but maybe it will just be in text format. And you get to learn more about Agent 8 the more you go through the Octo expansion. So the more you complete the 80 levels and the more you collect these memories, you learn more about Agent 8 and who she is and where she came from and her past before the events of the Octo expansion. I think that would be really cool if E Nation's theory did turn out to be true and did actually happen within the Octo expansion. Ryan Mooney says, I kind of feel like it's going to be a huge plot twist and the Squid Beat Splatoon are the ones creating Octolings in hope of stopping the Octarian race, but they turn against the Squid Beat Splatoon and it turns out they created Agent 8 too. And I feel like the expansion is going to have that cliche moment where Agent 8 feels betrayed when she finds out what the Squid Beat was doing. So yeah, it definitely is up in the air at this moment in time who is actually running the test facility. Is it the Octarians or is it Squid Beat Splatoon? I definitely see this theory as being plausible. This is one of the questions that I am really looking forward to finding out the answer to. So yeah, as soon as we get more Octo expansion details, then of course I will bring that to you on the channel. Now TDP Ivor is going to spoil some of the stuff that I will be talking about in the next video, where I talk about your theories on who you think the final boss will be. He has made a load of other theories though, which is why I will be talking about his theories in this video. So the Octolings are actually Inkling Octoling hybrids. Marina and Pearl are Agent 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. Your Octoling sibling will be in the story, so the one that you don't pick, it will be in the story. Octavio will be in it. Octarians or Inklings were the ones experimenting, which, yeah, they're the only two options that you can really have there. It is a prequel, 1.5, so it will be set between Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, which I talked about early on in this video. Agent 3 is going to fight with Agent 8. The green-blue Octarians are not real, more like replicas or clones, because the levels are like simulations. Levels are possibly Octarian training grounds, or the levels were used by Inkling scientists or the Inkling military to find a way to fight against the Octarians. And this goes along with Inkling Girl 136's theory. In the trailer for Octo expansion, you can see the boy and girl Octoling in like machines filled with green liquid. Could someone or something be making clones? I definitely do find that theory interesting, that maybe they are clones and maybe the levels are simulations. That is, really cool theory. And like what I've said before, you guys, you are coming up with some really interesting theories, and I'll love it if Nintendo did actually use some of these. Obviously they can't use all of them just because some of them do conflict with others. But yeah, you guys, you are coming up with much better theories than myself. So yeah, I'm really glad that I am doing this series, and I'm really glad that I am, talking about these theories. I really am enjoying myself, like reading your theories. And yeah, it would be really cool if it did turn out that they were clones and that the levels were simulations. The next theory comes in from Marily. Maybe the DLC will also explain how Callie got captured. Maybe during that time the Octarians used her DNA or songs to create some Octoling. I think that is definitely a great shout. I think we will learn about how Callie got captured. I think this is the same process used to capture Callie, and I think we will learn about that in the Octo expansion. So I think this is definitely true. Whether we will see Callie actually getting captured, I guess that depends on when this Octo expansion will take place. If it's set during the events of Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2, then maybe we will see Callie actually getting captured. But if it is set at the same time as the Splatoon 2 single player, then I don't think we'll see Callie getting captured. But I definitely think we will learn that this is how Callie got captured, and we will get an explanation of how Callie got captured. Sonic Spin Dash 276 says, maybe the old Octoling goggles from Splatoon 1 didn't hypnotise but were music controlled by DJ Octavio, but after the Squid Sisters performed Calamari Incantation, he realised that music control wasn't enough, so he made the Octoling glasses mind controlled and also the hypno shades Callie was wearing. He also sent the Octolings to be sanitised, hence why Agent 8 has to escape the facility. Marina must have escaped another way, but they might explain that in the Octo expansion. And yeah, I definitely think they will explain Marina's backstory. We already know that we will learn about Off the Hook's backstory, and maybe we will learn about how Marina escapes, and that would be pretty cool to see that. To go alongside Sonic Spin Dash 276's theory, Balloon Hater says maybe the Octolings aren't hypnotised but just follow Octavio for his music. Once they heard Callie incantation, it was something new to lift their spirits, and even Octavio had a blast listening to it. So that is definitely another plausible theory. I have heard rumblings that this was even confirmed in a Splatoon art book. I'm not sure how true that is, but maybe the Octolings do follow DJ Octavio not because they have been brainwashed, but because they have been hypnotized by his music, and Callie incantation breaks that hypnotization. That is definitely a really cool theory. Tomato Soup Guy says, I think Agent 8 along with Marina watched the Squid Sisters and DJ Octavio performing. Agent 8 and Marina then tried to escape, with Marina escaping and Agent 8 not. Later on, Marina along with Captain Cuttlefish, Agent 4 and Pearl come back to rescue Agent 8. This definitely does sound realistic. I think this is another plausible theory. I keep saying it. That's like the most common catchphrase during this mini series, but you guys, you are definitely coming up with plausible theories, and Tomato Soup Guy's theory is really realistic, just because we know that Agent 8, she watched the Squid Sisters perform in the final boss battle for Splatoon 1, and we know that Marina watched that same performance, so maybe Marina did manage to escape, Agent 8 not, and Marina will get the help of Captain Cuttlefish, Pearl and Agent 4, or maybe even Agent 3, and they will go back and rescue Agent 8. That definitely does sound like a realistic theory, but in that time frame of when Marina tried to get help, maybe Agent 8 got captured by DJ Octavio. DJ Octavio put her through the sanitization process to turn her back into an Octoling that would follow his orders. So yeah, that is definitely, like what I said before, I could definitely see this theory panning out. I really could. Kevin, not an actual name, says, one thing I'm wondering is if Salmon Run will tie into any of this. Heck, the expansion has a theme of shady experiments and underground happenings, so it would make sense for Mr. Grizz to appear. I would like to see you talk about this. I could definitely see them tying in Salmon Run to the Octo expansion, just because with Splatoon 2 they've already talked about how they like having a cycle between Salmon Run, multiplayer and single player. They like having a cycle between all of the elements within Splatoon 2, so I think they would want to carry on with that cycle. So I think Salmon Run will definitely tie into the Octo expansion in some sort of way. I definitely feel like Salmon Run will tie into the Octo expansion. Now, whether it will be through Mr. Grizz being Agent 7 or Mr. Grizz making some sort of appearance, I'm not sure. But we did learn in a recent interview that there is a mutual relationship between the Salmonids and the Octarians, with the Salmonids providing eggs that can be used as energy, and the Octarians providing the technology, machinery and the weaponry. So maybe the Octo expansion will explore that relationship even more. We haven't really seen that in the single player yet. We haven't seen the Octarians and the Salmonids. We haven't seen that mutual relationship yet. So what better opportunity to explore that relationship within the Octo expansion? I'll definitely love it if we did see that relationship get explored within the Octo expansion, and I think that would be a really cool way to tie in Salmon Run. So yeah, I think Salmon Run will be tied into the Octo expansion, just because it has been tied in before. Now, whether you will have to find certain stuff that you can use within Salmon Run, I'm not sure what like stuff you can really use. Maybe you could find like Mr. Grizz's weapons, maybe they have been lost and you have to go searching for his weapons within the 80 missions themselves. But yeah, I think Salmon Run will definitely be tied to the Octo expansion. I think multiplayer will be tied to the Octo expansion as well. I think multiplayer tickets and more currency tickets, they will be littered around the Octo expansion levels, and like the single player, you will have to search for them and find them. So yeah, I definitely feel like Salmon Run will be tied to the Octo expansion. So that is it for your plot theories Like what I've said many a times, I'm having an absolute blast. Seriously, I'm having a lot of fun reading your theories. Because they are realistic, it's getting me even more hyped to see how the Octo expansion will pan out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next video where I will talk about your final boss theories. So that is pretty much it for this video. Just like to thank you all for clicking on to this video. My voice for the second half of this video has been a little bit weird, just because unfortunately recently I've had a cold, so it has affected my voice somewhat, so I must apologise about that. I'd just like to thank you for watching and for also getting involved on the channel as well. I really am glad that I can do this series where I interact with you guys. So yeah, my voice is sounding weird, proper weird now, so it's time for me to press that stop button. I'm talking through my nose at this moment in time, so I must apologise about that. Hopefully this cold will shift soon, but hopefully it's not too annoying for you to listen to. But yeah, it's time for me to press that stop button, and yeah, we'll see you in my next video. Hopefully this video will go out pretty soon, so that the stuff that I have talked about will not be out of date, just because that is what has been happening. I have been recording these videos like a few days before they go out, and by the time the videos go out, Nintendo do reveal some new information that does make some of the theories that I do talk about obsolete. It's like the Agent 8 video that was originally going to be like 10 minutes long, but at the end of the video I did spend about 4 minutes talking about a theory that maybe this Splatoon 2 Octo expansion will be set after the single player. Maybe Agent 8 listened to spicy calamari incantation from the boss battle in Splatoon 2, but it got later confirmed that Agent 8 watched calamari incantation from the Squid Sisters performance in the final boss battle in Splatoon 1. So I'm going to try and get these videos out as quick as possible so that they don't become out of date. So yeah, that might be why some of the theories that you do hear me talk about, they might become out of date by the time the videos do go live. Anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. It's time for me to press that stop button, and we'll see you next time.